welcome back. Hope you're having a good day. It's my laurel oak tree. This year I actually brought it in December and gave it a pretty good hard cutback. Usually all I do every year, if I'm not going to repot it or anything, is after the first flush of leaves come out, I give it a partial defoliation, and then just kind of give you guys a little update when it comes back with its slightly smaller leaves. You can see it's got a ton of growth. Someone's even growing right at one out of the picture. It was really hard for me to get the whole thing in there. As a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to go ahead and cut some of those back first. That is not only what I do the partial defoliation, but also just kind of trim back and try to keep the profile of the tree the same, or about the shape that you would want the profile of your tree to be. I do think with this particular tree, you'll see when I bring the other one in here in a minute, that it doesn't quite have as many shoots and the leaves aren't quite as big on it. I think I've been having this in too much shade, and I did rearrange some stuff in my yard, and most of the trees that I had over there are not going to be over there anymore. Don't really have any kind of shade needing trees, if you will. But I do, it was just a convenient spot in my yard to kind of keep them. Now let's see, this would be the back of the tree. And then this would be the front. Let's go ahead and try to zoom in a little bit better here now that I've got it. I actually did look back through my old videos there, and I did realize that I think some of this new growth here may actually be kind of part of that second flush that oaks will get. And I really do think that me having it in the shade just really is kind of causing it to have much too big of leaves. And then I was just going to mention that this is a little bit later in the year than usually when I do this, simply because I was kind of waiting for these to kind of quote unquote harden off, and also waiting for some of those shoots to kind of slow down a little bit. And then I just kind of ran out of time and just really hadn't had a chance to get in here and do the work. So I'm going to do it now, obviously. And I'm just going to kind of get to work and stop running my mouth so much. Alright, and there we go. It's amazing. That's a lot more work when you go in not trying to take everything out than it is if you're going to go in and chop everything back. But my guess is it'll take 4 to 6 weeks for this to recover, and we'll take a look at what it looks like then. Alright, and that first part of the video was April 6th, and here we are June 8th, so right around 2 months later. In years past, this tree has responded from that partial defoliation with a bunch of I don't say smaller leaves that almost reach like a dense canopy to where you can't even see the trunk anymore. And I just usually kind of let that go for the summer, just allowing it to grow some. This year responded a little bit differently. But anyhow, first things first, I am going to make sure to get these weeds back out of here while I got a chance to work on it here. And while I got it in here, go ahead and just take off a couple of these twigs that are kind of just to stay out of reach of where I want the profile to currently be. Really not many of them. And then right here, just a couple dead twigs. I was kind of letting them go. This one's right at a little chop mark that I made when I first got it, like I think about 5 years ago now. I was kind of letting it see if it would help heal that wound over a little bit, but alright, and then just let this guy go for the rest of the summer here. Pray for no hurricanes. And if that's the case, I probably won't visit it again until next spring. Alright, and then we got this one here. It's got this wound down here. We'll take a closer look at that in a minute. But I'm going to go a little lighter with the pruning, just in the interest of trying to keep as much growth as possible. Got this as a project tree. Got a chop there, and then just has that growth coming out of the side here. Alright, so that'll be about it for this guy. I'm picturing as it grows older, not really doing anything more drastic other than just kind of letting it keep its shape here and continue to heal itself. Once this becomes either healed or carved at some point, I might do something with it, but kind of like the way it is. And let's look at this little wound here. Alright, so I did this in December. Up until then, it was looking like this. I noticed that this side was feeling very hollow, and actually most of the bark looked like it does there. Peeled off a little of the bark, and then just all that just kind of came out. Just going to kind of feel around a little bit. But it does get hard right about there. That's what she said. Some of this dried up bark, you can see there the live part kind of forcing some of the older stuff away. There we go. All right, I actually could and probably should go a lot further, but since I plan on updating these trees in about a month, I might just keep that in mind for then. I actually was planning on being done by now. I got some plans this afternoon, but try to keep it as even as possible here, just to you know, look nice out in the garden and everything. Pretty wild how that's the closest it is to the, that's the closest the wound is to the live part, and that's the part that seems to be rotting a lot quicker than out here. But then, alright, and just like the other one, we'll check up on it again in a month or so and see what it's looking like. Alright, and I thought about not even updating this one, as it really didn't do all that much interesting things over the last couple months. But out of curiosity, I did want to see just how much this, how this looked after a couple of months. And I'm going to get down there in 1 second and just kind of give you some thoughts on it and probably do a little more work on it and everything. But first, thought I'd do the same thing that I did on the other one, and that just a couple of longer branches kind of outgrowing the tree a little. Alright, so I noticed that that front part was, or the other side here, was rotting back, and I'd taken my handsaw and cut some of it back, tried to pick out some of the rot. Now I see this mushroom kind of fungus on the bark here, and that's clearly dead as well. And I think I was trying to point out there that, you know, you got this live part here, and you can see a little bulge going down just like that. And I would guess over time, that's going to turn out to be the live part of the tree there. See if I can show you that same thing on the other side. A little harder to see on this side. But again, there is just, here's the live part, and then there's just like a little bulge there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try to take my saw and come up at an angle like that and just take that whole thing off. I don't want to start anything I'm not going to be able to finish. I also want to make sure that I don't hit any of the parts there that I thought might have been live. So let's see if I go with that angle here. Alright. And from here, just coming a little too close to that for my taste there, so I'm going to try to come in from this way and see if I can meet what I was cutting. So okay, there we go. There we go. Alright, that'll about do it for the day. Feel a little silly all that time I spent picking on the rotten parts before. Probably should have just done this to begin with. But either way, it's done now. Just got that little uneven spot there. But I didn't get into any live stuff at all. Right here on this side, I kind of made the mistake of getting a little bit lower than I wanted to, like right up with that live piece there. You can see the color changed a little, but I didn't get into any green stuff. So again, I'll just let that go for a while. I really do need to think about buying some better carving equipment. Just can't really decide what to get, and I'm kind of a little bit of a tool idiot when I go to the store. Sometimes I'm not even all that sure what it is I'm looking at, what I'm asking for and everything. So see if I considered that. If I tried to treat that as the front, so you wouldn't be able to see that all that much. But then just depending on where time takes us, maybe I can make that into something interesting over time too. But we'll just see.